They say there's an abandoned house on the edge of town where mirrors don't reflect reality. If you dare to step inside, you might see a twisted version of yourself, and perhaps you'll never escape again. It was a dare that brought 5 friends to the decaying mansion that night. The old Blackwood house had stood empty for decades, its windows dark and shuttered. Local legends whispered of strange disappearances and eerie sounds echoing from within its crumbling walls. But for Jake, Mia, Tyler, Zoe, and Ethan, it was just another haunted house story until they pushed open the creaking front door. The musty air hit them first, thick with dust and decay. Flashlight beams danced across peeling wallpaper and rotting floorboards. But it was the mirrors that caught their attention. Dozens of them lining every wall of the entrance hall. Some were cracked or tarnished, while others gleamed as if newly polished. And strangest of all, a faint, otherworldly glow seemed to emanate from within the glass itself. "This is seriously creepy," Mia whispered, her voice echoing in the silence. The others nodded, suddenly less sure of their bravado. As they ventured deeper into the house, an unsettling feeling grew. The mirrors seemed to watch them, reflecting distorted images that didn't quite match reality. Shadows flickered at the edge of vision, gone when they turned to look. And with each step, the glow from the mirrors intensified. Tyler was the first to notice something was wrong. "Guys," he said, his voice trembling. "Look at our reflections." The group huddled around a large, ornate mirror. At first glance, everything seemed normal. But as they watched, their mirror selves began to move independently, shifting in the opposite direction. "It's just a trick," Ethan said, but doubt crept into his voice. "Some kind of optical illusion?" Zoe reached out, her fingertips barely brushing the mirror's surface. In an instant, she was gone. One moment she stood beside them, the next nothing. Only her scream, quickly cut off, echoed in the empty hall. Panic erupted. Jake pounded on the mirror, calling Zoe's name. But the glass remained solid, showing only their own terrified faces. And then every mirror in the hall blazed to life. The reflections that stared back at them were no longer their own. Twisted, malevolent versions of themselves grinned from behind the glass. Eyes gleaming with cruel intelligence, mouths stretched in impossible smiles. These were funhouse mirror distortions come to life, exaggerated features warped by evil. "We have to get out of here," Mia screamed, turning to run. But the house had other plans. Corridors shifted, doors appeared and disappeared. Every exit led back to another mirror-lined room, the grinning doppelgangers always waiting. One by one, they were taken. Tyler, reaching for a doorknob that wasn't there, stumbled through a mirror that suddenly liquefied. Ethan, backing away from his leering reflection, felt cold glass at his back, and then he was falling, swallowed by the mirror behind him. Mia and Jake clung to each other, stumbling through the maze-like house. Mirrors multiplied around them, their evil twins always one step ahead. "Don't look," Jake gasped. "Don't let them see your fear." But it was impossible not to look. The mirrors called to them, promising answers, threatening worse fates if they tried to resist, and always, always watching. Finally, they burst through a set of double doors into a cavernous ballroom. For one brief moment, hope flared. The far wall held what looked like windows, a chance at escape. But as they ran forward, their hearts sank. Not windows. More mirrors. Hundreds of them covering every surface from floor to ceiling. And in each one, a different version of themselves stared back. Some were subtle changes, a scar here, different colored eyes there. Others were monstrous, barely recognizable as human. All of them moved independently, pressing against the glass, hungry to be free. Jake and Mia stood back to back in the center of the room, surrounded on all sides. "What do we do?" Mia whispered, her voice cracking. Before Jake could answer, his reflection, a version with jet black eyes and razor-sharp teeth, stepped out of the mirror. It moved with unnatural grace, circling the pair like a predator. More reflections followed, emerging from their glass prisons. The air filled with the sound of tinkling glass and inhuman laughter. Jake felt a tug, an irresistible pull towards one of the mirrors. He fought against it, but it was like fighting quicksand. The last thing he saw was Mia's terrified face as a warped version of herself dragged her into another mirror. Then he was through the glass, falling into endless darkness. Behind him, his reflection, now flesh and blood, stood in the real world, wearing his face but with eyes that gleamed with ancient alien intelligence. The thing that was no longer Jake smiled, flexing its new hands. "Free," it whispered, "at last." In the days that followed, search parties combed the old Blackwood house. They found nothing, no bodies, no signs of struggle. Just empty rooms and dusty mirrors that reflected nothing but ordinary images. But sometimes, late at night, passersby swear they see figures moving behind those dark windows. Faces pressed against the glass, mouths open in silent screams. And if you look closely at your own reflection, you might catch a glimpse of something ... other ... staring back at you. Would you dare to stare into a mirror in complete darkness? To face what might be looking back? Prove your courage by commenting, "I dare to look." And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling stories that lurk in the shadows. Because remember, not every reflection shows the truth, and some mirrors are doorways to places we were never meant to go.